So, Orange Bikes is in administration. What does it mean? What do I, as someone who's inside the industry, think it means? And where do we go next? Given that it is definitely not the last bike brand that's going to happen to, and it's certainly not the first either. So the obvious elephant in the room here is that a lot of people are saying it's the end of the brand, and that is simply not the case, or it's definitely not the case yet. So the statement issued from Orange Bikes earlier on today said obviously that they've got a rescue team involved, and basically what this means, for those of you who don't know, is that they will draw up plans together, have a look at different areas of the business, see if there's anywhere they can free up equity. This is normally to repay debts. So a slightly different position than what Wiggle and Chain Reaction are in, where their main sort of funder pulled out. This is, from what I can understand, a slightly different situation because it's not funding. Well, of course, funding is the issue to a degree, but it's not one source pulling out and saying we won't be doing this anymore. So the main elephant in the room is no, the brand is not gone. Now, with a brand like Orange, I've been in this industry a long time. What I would expect is that even if someone doesn't want their old designs or anything like that, if it went up for sale, I'd expect that somebody would buy the name. Now, it'd be crazy for all that heritage to just vanish and not have a future anymore. Who knows? Nobody can say other than them what will happen next. From past experiences, we can make an educated guess as to where it'll go from here. So obviously they made a decision to cut their factory racing team. For other brands, I can see this decision. For Orange, in my opinion, I think it's a very, very interesting decision, because Orange, for those of you who don't know, they're a high-end bike brand. They don't do, your £400 to £500 hardtails or entry-level stuff like that. It's all mid to high range, really nice stuff, really nice quality. Their big selling point is that they use steel still, nice feel on the frames, a lot of work into the geometries and stuff. However, not having the base model does mean that racing sort of pushed the name into the crowds that they wanted it to go into, because you want to sell your 4 or 5 grand bikes, then you need to win races, and the people who are watching it and mad into the cycling are going to see that, and they're going to then want to ride an Orange. If you have stepping stone bikes, 400-500 quid as your entry level, it's a bit different, because someone might buy that and then they're going to fall in love with the brand, and people tend to carry a brand through as they upgrade specs and stuff. So I think personally, from someone who's been in every part of this industry, that is a really, really strange move. But I'm sure it was well thought out, and there is more reason behind it that will or won't come to light. The huge thing that I want to say here is that I hope that Orange Bikes can carry on. As the particular shop that I'm working in now opened 5 years ago, and even from then we have noticed a huge fall in numbers. Now, that's not just in Orange, other brands have gone that way as well. As brands like Canyon and stuff burst onto the scene, direct buy, really low prices, other brands are sort of falling behind, or they're not as popular as they once were. The other thing that I think, in my opinion, has made that from being local to these shops that a bit of a knock-on effect is the acquisition of a huge franchise that stocked a lot of Orange, which now, according to people I know on the inside, they don't stock them anymore. So it's a really strange time when you've got independent shops and franchises being bought out by huge companies like JD. It creates uncertainty, and the industry is already uncertain. So if we cast our minds back to lockdown, everybody was buying bikes. But the issue with that was, after I'd say 6 months, there was no base level stock anywhere. There was literally, you couldn't buy a bike for sub 1,500 quid. Now, what that meant was that people who maybe needed a 400 quid bike got a credit card or spent more and more, and now that time's come where potentially they'd be changing that bike or upgrading it, but they don't see the need to, or they can't justify it because Of course, if they bought an entry level bike, then the upgrade's £1,000. It's reasonable. If they've already got a £2,500 enduro bike and they only pot around canal paths and stuff, they don't need anything different. And we have a lot of customers like that were generated in COVID, not that bought the bikes from here, but now we do their servicing, and you see it because the suspension when inside is all immaculate, really nice. So there's a lot of that out there, and I think for a brand like Orange, that is a massive, massive problem, because you are dependent on people wanting the high-end product and the single pivot and stuff like that. If the clientele already has the product, or they're in a strange space to justify the upgrade, if you've already got a £2,500 bike that you didn't really want to buy, it's very unlikely that you're going to make the next step, because then you're up to £4,000 to jump in specs again. So I think COVID, again, as with everything, it bumped the prices up. A big factor that I think all brands, especially ones in the UK, I don't know about other places, but are struggling with, is P&A, so parts and accessory distributors. So beforehand you had some really big guys in there, and if you needed stuff from in the UK already, if you weren't buying it direct from SRAM or Shimano, it was readily available, whereas now stock numbers are getting lower and lower, and then distributors and wholesalers are shutting down. So, for example, if you need 20 SRAM derailleurs to release a bike, 20 is obviously very low number, but just for the example, if you need 20 SRAM derailleurs to release a bike, and SRAM say, sorry, they're on a back order, you could go to somewhere, and the example I use would be Rally, and say, same thing, just need 20 of them. Yeah, not a problem. However, companies like Rally and other P&A, Rally's a huge one that have stopped trading in that department as of late on last year. So sourcing stuff's getting harder and harder and harder. Of course, brands like that have way more pull than a shop like us. They can probably go direct. Well, they can definitely go direct, but it doesn't help you when a lot of the stuff direct is now being pushed back and being delayed. The other ginormous thing that I think really isn't helping brands at the minute is the cycling publicity. So all you've got to do is put cycling news or cycling industry news, which is I follow stuff like that, because obviously it's beneficial to our job and we can keep customers in the loop. And it's all doom and gloom. It's all, this is shut down, that's shut down, cease trading, funding's been taken away. So it's a really, really strange time. Overall, yes, I think Orange, the name, will carry on. However, I'm really split currently as to whether I think Orange, the brand, will continue as we know it now. So you see it a lot in motorcycle manufacture, like Royal Enfield. Companies come in, they buy the name, and then they sell bikes based off that heritage, basically. Of course, cycling doesn't work quite like that, because people know specs and stuff like that, and motorbikes are a little bit different because those brands are from years and years ago, but same principle. I think someone might come in, snap up the name and put it in an umbrella of their names. I personally don't see Orange being able to carry on from the volume that we used to see to what we see now, and it's a shame because they are lovely bikes to work on. Simplistic, but they work well, and stuff's readily available, and if you got any questions, the guys there know their stuff. You put me on the phone 10 minutes and you get all the information you need. So all in all, I'm hoping for the UK cycling scene that Orange can carry on, but I'm sort of doubtful as to if we will see the same models in production, or even if we'll see the brand carry on from over in Yorkshire where they are based.